Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. Full audio of our planning and zoning commissions are available at www.cityofnatchitoches.la.gov. I'm sorry, cityofnatchitoches.la.gov. The next city council meeting is June the 12th at this location. Applications for rezoning will be introduced at that time, and final voting for applications for rezoning will occur on June the 26th, 2023. Any waivers or variances, anyone aggrieved by that must file an appeal within writing within 10 days of tonight's decision, and it must be docketed in 60 days, is that right? But not automatically docketed, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, I ask everyone that if they come in tonight to please sign in. Only place we're going to have discussion is from the AMBO up here. And ask speakers to identify themselves and speak directly into the mic. We don't have Zoom. We no longer have Zoom participants, is that correct?
Right.
All right. The next planning and zoning meeting, are we going to discuss that in office activities at the end?
Yes, sir.
Because the next regularly scheduled one is the 4th of July, so I know
Correct.
we don't want to do that.
Nope.
Okay, so the order that we will take today is we will hear from the applicant or his designee, and then from persons in favor of the application, and then we will hear from opponents to the application, and upon conclusion of that, we will hear from the applicant or his designee only regarding rebutting anything in the opposition, and then we'll move to discussions by commission members. Amongst commission members, there will be no discussion between the audience members. The time for the discussion between the audience members was before I called the meeting into order. Did I miss any comments?
No, sir.
All right, Roman numeral, regular, we've gone to Arabic numbers now, we no longer Roman numerals. Number 2, roll call.
Anita Du Bois.
Here.
Bobby Claiborne.
Here.
Charles Whitehead III.
Here.
Isaac Lewis.
Here.
Ron Brown.
Here.
Walter Johnson.
Here.
Ricky McAllister. And Ethel Blake. Michael Lewis.
All right, by my count, that's a quorum, is that correct? You can catch you change the numbers on me. Regular number 3, approval of the minutes. The commissioners have been provided proposed copies of the minutes and should have reviewed them before today. If there are no additions, corrections, or deletions, I'll entertain a motion to dispense with their formal reading and accept them as proposed.
I'll make a motion.
I'll
Motion
second.
by Lewis, second by Du Bois. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, old business, number 4, old business. We have no old business, is that correct?
That's correct.
Roman numeral 5, 5.1, have the application by Sibley Lake Realty to subdivide the following: a 0.745 acre tract of land is shown on a survey by Robert Lynn Davis dated October the 10th, 2022, along with an adjoining 1.410 acre tract and a 0.73 acre tract being subdivided from the parent containing irregular section 25 Township 9 North, Range 8 West, and irregular section 40 of the same township and range of Natchitoches Parish, Louisiana, that lies south of Highway 6 and east of I-49, located within the city limits, less lots to Evans and Letts lots previously sold to various parties, less 1.543 acres, being a portion of a 1.73 acre tract shown on the plat in conveyance book 597, folio 622 of the records of Natchitoches Parish that lies less 2 acres to Premium Hotels LLC. The reason to subdivide parcel for future commercial development. The municipal address has been undetermined, but it's physically located on University Parkway. Will the applicant or their designee come forward?
Yes, I'm sure you're probably familiar with it. This is the location on Highway 6, south of Highway 6 before you get to the interstate. It's already zoned B3. All we're asking is for a subdivision to cut off the smaller parcel for commercial business.
And they front on the road.
It, actually, we're building a frontage road between Highway 6 and the lots. Actually, the 3/4 acre one was already approved at a previous meeting earlier this year. I just failed to, my office failed to return the certified recorded plat to planning and zoning. So it's been approved.
All right. Do you have any idea what's gonna go there? Do you have somebody that you're able to see?
We got a contract with the pharmacy.
Okay. All righty. And for the record, that's Sidney B. Evans III, representing Sibley Lake Realty, is that correct?
Correct.
All right. Is anyone here, anyone questions for Mr. Evans by any of the commission members? Is anyone in opposition to the application of Sibley Lake Realty? Hearing none, discussion by commission members.
I move we approve.
Motion by DuBois, second by Claiborne. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. All right, Mr. Evans, that becomes final in 11 days. Do you have the plat?
I'll need to bring you a plat with the signature lines on it.
Okay. Try to bring it, what do you try to get them done on Tuesdays?
Yes.
So she takes them to the staff meeting on Tuesday. That way she doesn't have to run around town to get the signatures. She can have them there, so if you can have
I
them
will get it to her.
to her by next Tuesday, because
Yes.
it won't be final until next Friday. So
Correct.
just-
Perfect.
It'll make our job a lot easier, and then once it's all signed, you'll have to come pick it up and bring us a, I don't care about a certified copy, I just want the book page and
I'll bring you certified.
instrument number.
That'll work.
I'll take what I can get.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Item for new business, item 5.2, item by Michael Gilly, Bayou Soul, to rezone the following lot at the southwest corner of Texas and Fifth Street, having a front on Texas Street of 144.9 feet by depth of, on Fifth Street of 80.5 feet, from B2 commercial to B3 commercial with BA zoning. Reason for consumption of high and low alcohol on the premises bearing municipal address 501 Texas Street. The items are in your file behind the Sibley Lake Realty. Comments by the director as the applicant or his designee come forward.
Okay, so this area used to be the old Red's Rib building. So Mr. Gilly has taken it over. Because it is in the new historic district, they are now, the residents or the restaurants there can now apply for BA zoning. And so with his restaurant, he is requesting the additional BA. He is currently zoned B2, but in order for him to receive the BA zoning, we had to change the zoning from B2 to B3.
And why does it have to be B3?
According to our ordinance, in order for BA zoning to be applied for, you have to have B3 zoning.
Okay. All right. Please, sir, identify yourself and tell us what it is. You got anything you need to add from what the director had to say about your application?
My name is Michael Gilly. I'm originally from Natchitoches, running the business Bayou Soul at the corner of Texas and Fifth. Wanted to apply for the rezoning and also to be able to apply for application for low content alcohol sales and providing food for the new district on Texas Street.
I'm sorry, you're gonna do what? What was that last bit you said?
Wanted to be able to provide alcoholic beverages along with the food that we offer to any of our people that come in that want to enjoy a beverage with their foods at the restaurant.
Okay, I misunderstood. Thought you'd said something to offer it to other restaurants in town.
No, sir.
Okay. Didn't make any sense to me, but, all right. All right, questions for Mr. Gilly by commission members?
What's your hour of operation?
We're open from 11:30 a.m. until we sell out Monday through Thursday, and from 5:30 p.m. to 12 a.m. on Fridays. The bulk of our customers on Friday who miss lunch on Monday through Thursday will be able to potentially sit down and dine in. That was the idea when we got ready to switch everything over.
Any other questions by commission members? Anyone else to speak on behalf of the application of Gilly? Is there any opposition to the application of Gilly? Discussion by commission members.
I move we approve.
Second. Motion by DuBois, second by Lewis. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, like sign. Now, Mr. Gilly, you fall under a rezone, so this will be introduced automatically next Monday. It's supposed to be introduced and read by title and laid over. Nobody's supposed to be able to talk, but if somebody decides, says they can't be there, they're going to see their grandkids or their aunt or something on the 26th, my experience has been that the council lets them talk. So I would suggest you show up and only talk if they give somebody dispensation to talk. And then it'll be for full discussion on the 26th and voting there. And that's right here, and their meeting time is 5:30 or 5?
5:30.
5:30 with the pre-meeting starting at 5.
Yes, sir.
Second Monday, fourth Monday.
Gotcha.
Thank you, Mr. Gilly.
All right, thank y'all.
Wrong way. Thought I did. This way to screw something up is give me technology. All right. New business subsection 5.3.
That's not right.
Trinetia K. Hardison to rezone the following location: a lot on the west side of Fifth Street, north by Sevier, south by the church property, from B2 commercial to R2 residential for single-family residential development. Bay Municipal Address 904 Fifth Street. Would Ms. Hardison, our designee, comes forward while we get a summary by the director of this application.
Good afternoon. My name is Alice Hardison, and I'm on behalf of my daughter, Trinita K. Hardison, and we're wanting to rezone it from a commercial to a residential, put a single-family dwelling on that property. We have houses on each side of it. The church is the only one that's across the street. Everything else in that area is residential because we have property further down that's residential, just across the Parish Street from there. So everything in that area is residential, and this is the only property that's listed in there as commercial. So we're asking to have it rezoned.
Is there a particular reason we went R2?
Well, actually, it's not supposed to be R2, it's supposed to be R1.
So is there a mistake in the docket, or is
Yeah,
it a
because
mistake
on
in
the application, she put R2, but it's
Okay.
supposed to be R1. She did B2 to R2 thinking it was the same, but it wasn't.
Gotcha.
And the advertisement, it was actually advertised as R1. And as far as commercial, that whole entity on that side is actually zoned for commercial use. It's only a portion of the property on the other side of them that's zoned R1. So that whole entity right now is zoned for commercial use. And if anybody wanted to come in, they can do retail, they can do a daycare, they can do.
Till what? What's the hours for B2? Till midnight?
Right. But what they're requesting is to do the least restrictive zoning for residential, for single family.
The most restrictive zone.
Well, most restrictive, the least restricted is B3. But they're taking it from a B2 to a R1 for single family development. It won't be developed for a duplex or an apartment complex or anything like that.
So just as a matter of housekeeping, the first thing we need to do I need to get an amendment to amend the application to R1?
Yes,
And you don't see any problem with that because it is the most restrictive zoning. It's not like we advertise we can go R1 and now we're trying to go R3.
correct.
Okay. The chair will entertain a motion to amend the application to read from B2 commercial to R1 residential.
Correct.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by DuBois.
Second.
Second by Claiborne. This is to amend the application to drop this to R1 only. So all in favor of amending the application to R1, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All
Mr.
right,
Chairman, I want,
sure,
Mr. Lewis and I have a conflict
okay.
with that particular.
All right, so you don't need to participate in the discussion or the voting. So we'll so note that Lewis and,
Johnson.
yes, are not participating in discussion or voting. All
I
right.
need to make one more statement too,
Sure.
Chairman. Just to let them know that another reason why we are changing the zoning from commercial to R1 is for tax purposes. If they were to remain as a commercial and build single family, then they will be taxed on a commercial level.
15% rather than
15% rather than residential. So that was another reason why we asked them to change it to residential.
10. Okay. All right, and so you understand, Ms. Hardison, that at R1, this is a single lot, correct?
Correct.
So there's a single residence is all that can be built on this. You
Yes,
understand
sir.
that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is anyone else here to speak on behalf of the application of Ms. Trinetta Hardison? All right. Is there anyone in opposition to the application of Hardison?
Yes.
Please come forward and state your name, address, and the reasons for, that you oppose it. Oh, by the way, before, this is a conforming size lot, is it not?
It is.
Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
My name is Lillian Dugar, and I'm a member of St. Anthony Catholic Church, which is directly across the street from this property. I'm representing the pastor, Father John O'Brien, and he has sent a letter opposing. And if I may, I'll read, "To whom it may concern, as pastor of St. Anthony of Padua Catholic Church on 911 Fifth Street, and on behalf of its parishioners, I oppose rezoning of lot west side Fifth Street, north of Sevier, south by church property, and west by Chevalier. 904 Fifth Street, from B2 commercial to R1 residential. Very Reverend John O'Brien." And I do have a letter here.
You can make that a record, but I'm going to give it no weight without any reasons. Do you have a reason for your opposition, Mr. Carr?
Well, Father says that the reason is that he just doesn't want it rezoned because the church is there, has been there forever, and he feels as though it, if it's residential, they may complain at a later date that we have activities on church properties.
Well, let me just go over a few things that they can do by right now if we don't rezone it. What Ms. Hardison could put over there without action by this committee. They could put a retail bakery there. They could put a barber shop there. They could put a correctional, detentional, or penal institution there. They could put an electrical substation there. They could put a fire station there. Let's see. They could put an institution for children or the aged. They could put a laundry or dry cleaning pickup station. They could put a pipeline or electric transmission line there. Let's see. I mean, I don't understand an opposition to the most restrictive zoning. You can do the least in R1, and B2 gets you operations till midnight, and y'all can't complain about that.
And they couldn't complain about us either, at it being commercial, but they can complain to us
Well,
if it is residential.
Churches are a grandfathered use or special exception use in an R1, and so they take you as they find you. They can't come in and complain about that. And I know Father John, and I wish he would I wish he would have come or.
He
put
had
some-
another meeting that had already been planned, and we did not receive this letter about this changing
But-
until the 26th of May. And so therefore, we went around and got 90 signatures saying that they are opposed of it, and we tried. There was no way he could get out of the diocesan meeting that was at his
I understand.
hall.
I understand.
So,
And once again, we'll take those 90 signatures, but unless they're willing to come up here and articulate their reasons, and I mean, I
Well-
don't think y'all fundamentally understand that there is not a more restrictive zoning. You can only do one thing in R1 by right, is you can have a house, you can have farming or truck garden, you can have a golf course, and you can have a home occupation, and a playground or that. You can't do anything else there. But there's all kinds of things you can do in B2. And normally, we don't. If somebody wants to go down in zoning, we usually don't stop them because it reduces they are reducing their rights to the property to their own detriment. Is that a fair statement? And so, anyway, I don't want to make it sound like we've got our mind made up, but I just don't think y'all fundamentally understand that down zoning is something that if somebody wants to do, we typically let them do it. All right, any questions for Ms. Dugard?
Ma'am, what kind of activities would you have at the church that you're concerned that the people living across the street might have?
well, we have a hall on the back of our church, and we rent that hall out. And there is dances and parties and whatever, and they're there until after midnight sometimes. So,
Does that raise any more questions for Ms. Dugard? All right. Anyone else want to speak in opposition to the application of Hardison?
Mr. Chairman, before we move
Now,
on,
hold on just 1 second. Yes.
so they have this single-family residence over there, and they're building it knowing what's across the street, and activities are going on that have, I presume, for quite some time. I don't see where they would have a lot of ground. I mean, anybody can complain about
Yeah.
anything, but I
Well,
don't see where they would.
Ron, remember about 15 years ago up Williams Avenue where it was row crop farming forever? And all these rich folks started going and building houses on 2 and 3 acres. And they all of a sudden started complaining about the fact that there was dust and noise because they had carved out 3 acres of row crop land that fronted Williams Avenue and were complaining that, that they were growing crops next door to them as they had been doing for 150 years. Those folks didn't get a lot of traction. That's exactly, your comments is exactly what they were met with, is that you carved out 3 acres of row crop land and built you a house, and you're complaining that there's dust and noise and, machinery going early in the morning or late in the evening during the appropriate time. And so I think it's the same thing here, but I can't speak for Captain Collins on what he would do, but I'm pretty sure our office wouldn't do anything about it. Is that right? It's not something, if they're violative of the noise ordinance, we can't stop that. That's an enforcement issue with the police. That's not our department. But, I'm like you, I just don't see how that's got, I don't know, Ron, were you on here when Ed Ward and them put that wanted to down zone in a heavy industrial across from the compressor plant? And I ran him through the ringer and said, you want to go to B2 and, they can build a heavy battery acid plant next to you on one side, and a tannery on the other. And I said, I don't want you coming back here and saying, you know, that this industrial zone is acting like an industrial zone, and you wanted to put a B3 special exception nursery there to take care of the Alliance compressor people. I mean, you kind of take it, if you go into a place that you don't belong and want to do something that's more restrictive, I don't think you can complain about the people around you that are behaving as they're zoned or as they have a grandfathered use. Is that the way you feel about it,
That's
Madam Director?
Yes, sir.
All right. Let's hear from anybody else in opposition to the application.
I think someone had a question.
She has a
Please,
question.
please come forward and identify yourself.
I just wanted to ask, what, you read out everything that could be put on that property.
No, ma'am, I just read out a few of the things that I
Okay.
thought were the most
This
objective.
is my question.
Sure.
Can a trailer be put there, resident?
No.
There's no such thing as a trailer. Can a manufactured home be put there?
Right.
Which is what people vernacularly call a trailer. Something with an integrated chassis that's pulled behind a giant truck. It cannot.
And
Now, what?
and a trailer?
All right.
I
Once
mean,
again, there's
a
no
big-
trailer. And the
Yeah.
only reason I'm making that distinction is there are two things. There's manufactured homes that are manufactured under the HUD code, which is what most of us think of as a trailer. They have an integrated chassis and axles, and they're delivered to your house. Now, there's something called a modular home, which is built off-site, and then it's like one of these houses over across from M.R. Weaver that you can, built on piers. You can come, Eddie Florane from Coshada can come in, put red iron up and lift them and move them. A modular home is built according to not the HUD code, but our code.
ICC.
Does not have the ICC, does not have integrated chassis, and does not have wheels. It is delivered and rolled off as a prefabricated home is probably the best way to think of it.
Well, that was my understanding, what was gonna be moved on that lot.
And a modular home is allowed by right and is built according to any of the houses that are built today. Is that right? That's
Right, but she's specifically asking about the manufacturer.
She's asking about she doesn't know what she's asking about because she's talking about a trailer, doesn't know that they're two
Well-
things now. So I wanted to be clear about that they're a trailer like you see in a trailer park that somebody's gonna move from place to place. A modular home is made to be put in place one time.
Stay right there.
And stay right there. And the only way you move it is the same way you move one of those little houses over on Elizabeth or Howard over in Bailey Heights, that's on brick columns. They gotta come in with a red iron, jack it up and move it. It's not like a trailer house, what you're thinking of, where they lift it up, the axles are still under there, throw some tires on and off they're gone in a half a day.
Well, I'm talking about just a basic trailer that the residents
It is-
will pay rent to stay there.
It's not allowed. It has to be a stick-built home, a home built somewhere else and moved on, or a modular home, but all of them have to be built according to ICC. And trailers, what trailers are called now, are built to a different code.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Anyone else here to speak in opposition to the application of Hardison? All right, hearing none, Ms. Hardison, you have a brief rebuttal to the opposition.
Yes, sir. We made no indications that we were going to put any type of trailer there. We did ask for the zoning to be for residential so that we could put a single duplex, a single home there. We are not trying to do anything. We're not trying to run a club or anything like that. If the church has any activity that would have nothing to do as well as with the Rebels home and Miss LaCroix home, we have, no opposition of them doing anything like that. I go to church, therefore I have no problem with what the church does.
Any questions from Ms. Hardison? Discussion by commission members?
I move we approve.
Motion by DuBois to approve,
I'll second it.
second by Claiborne. All in favor say aye.
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 That's 3. So I got to vote. Yes. Aye. So, so that will become, as I told Mr. Gilly, that is going to be introduced next Monday. Meetings at 5:30, pre-meetings at 5. Ms. Hardison, this probably applies even more to you than Ms. Gilly. It sounds like we may have some scheduling issues, so someone that may be in opposition to it might show up on Monday and say they cannot be here on the 26th, the fourth Monday. So my suggestion to you is the same that I made to Mr. Gilly, is to show up, and if the commission, if the council gives dispensation for somebody to talk because they're not going to be here at the next meeting, you should be prepared to present your case at that time. Otherwise, I wouldn't say anything, and the full hearing is on the 26th. And if you folks want to come back on the 26th in front of the city council, that they're the ones who have the final say on this. All right?
I'd like to thank the board.
Thank you, Ms. Hardison.
Thank you all.
New business subsection 5.4, Parth Bhakta Motel 6 to rezone the following 5.5 acres commencing at Point C is shown on a plat by A.J. Bouye dated April 27, 1979, which is the northeast corner and said point situated on the south right-of-way of Louisiana Highway 3110, and from the point of beginning run thence south 2 degrees 35 minutes west 208.7 feet, thence run south 87 degrees 25 minutes east 208.7 feet, thence run south 2 degrees 35 minutes west 209.3 feet, thence continue south 2 degrees 35 minutes west 35 feet, thence north 87 degrees 25 minutes west 627 feet, thence run north 2 degrees 35 minutes east 35 feet, thence continue north 2 degrees 35 minutes east 418 feet, being a northwest corner, being a point on the, situated on the right-of-way of Louisiana State Highway 3110 and being the northwest corner, runs thence 87 degrees 25 minutes east along the south right-of-way of Louisiana State Highway 3110, 418.3 feet to the point of beginning, located in section 72, 73, 74, Township 9 North, Range 7 West, Natchitoches, Louisiana. From B3 commercial to B3 commercial for a special exception is to operate a hotel with extended stay lodging, Motel 6, 7624 Highway 1 bypass. If Ms. Bhakta or their designee will come forward while the director summarizes the application.
I don't think anyone's here, but the hotel itself, well, we don't have extended stays here in Natchitoches.
correct.
We never have. But this particular hotel has been operating as an extended stay, along with other issues that's been going on. So in order for them to operate as an extended stay, they had to submit to the State Fire Marshal's Office for a change of use. The last time I spoke with them, the only change that they'd actually requested was for a sprinkler system.
You're talking about the fire marshal?
No, I'm talking about the hotel people. The only thing that they actually applied for was for a sprinkler system.
Okay.
They didn't actually make the submittal for an extended stay. So I'm assuming that's why they're not here tonight. It's because that was part of the requirement to even have approval by us, is if they submitted and been approved by the State Fire Marshal's Office.
All right. So I guess the pleasure of the director is that we table this.
Yes, sir.
The chair will entertain a motion to table this.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Lewis.
I'll second.
Second by DuBois. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, it's tabled, and just try to, I guess, who do we have? We don't have many people to notify this thing. Friedman or Bypass Trust.
There wasn't many.
Who else? Bypass Trust, Chad Moran. Who else is around that?
It was Braxton Kaiser, Braxton Land Company, Bypass Trust, Cane River Land, Friedman, H-Town, which is them, Moran Trucking, Natchitoches Motels, Inc.,
Yeah.
Natchitoches South, Inc.,
Okay,
and
this is a
Shanita Robertson.
different place than I thought. Okay,
That's right across from Alliance.
okay.
Oh, okay.
The Motel 6 used to be Holiday Inn back in the day.
Yeah. All right,
So this
Well, I-
property is actually on our condemnation list.
yeah. Well, try to get a hold of them, because I think I'd like to send new notices out if we decide to take them off the table. Just to give these people an opportunity, even though we're not
Well-
required to do it.
They were explained that if they were not here, if they hadn't, there were several things that they needed to do before this application was actually approved. And so far, they have not completed any of the steps.
Okay.
That was to keep them from being condemned, well, listed for demolition, because it's already been condemned, but in order for it to be brought into compliance, there are several steps and things that they needed to take care of.
All right, so we got, what, next? That's it? So it's office activities? Is that-
July 4th.
And what do we want to do on the 5th, or do we want to go the next week? Because it'll put us, the thing is.
Well,
is
the
if-
next week, that Monday, we have city council that Monday. So would you want to do it
Well, I mean, I
that
think
Tuesday?
I'd want to do it on Wednesday, because it would not put people, if we did it on the following Tuesday, you know, it would put us out of whack if we had any rezone. Do we have any indications of any rezones coming up?
Not yet. I haven't had anything for anything yet.
It would just put us out of whack, I think, with, instead of being heard on the second and fourth Monday, then it would be heard on the fourth and second Monday if we don't have our meeting in sufficient time before the second Monday. Am I making sense on that? You know, that's what I think, but what's the consensus? Y'all want to do it on Wednesdays? Doesn't interfere with anybody's church or too much?
That's fine.
All right, so I guess we don't have to vote on that. If that's what you want to do, Madam Director, let's just do that.
That's fine.
All right. Any other office activity?
No other activity right now. I'm trying to make a note.
No problem. Take your time.
No, we're good. No actual activity right now.
All right. Regular number 7, Reverend Claiborne.
Make a motion to adjourn.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, we stand adjourned.